Hey folks, Matt Cuda here. Welcome back to another episode of the Matt Cuda Photography Podcast. I am Matt Cuda, and today I am going to continue the series that we started 2 episodes ago on my trip to Florida. Now, as I've stated before, Florida is a favorite haunt of mine. And on this day, day 4, I needed a diversion. I had been photographing birds in flight and birds in nests and just constantly standing. And I needed a diversion. I needed a way to kind of rest during the middle of the week and still get some good photographs and get some good opportunities. So what I did was I headed down to an old haunt of mine called Merritt Island. And if you know anything about where I've been in the past, where I'm currently going, you know I like Merritt Island. Okay, Merritt Island is a great place to go, particularly Biolab Road, Black Point, Wildlife Drive. You can even go down to the beach and photograph shorebirds. It really is a nice place to go. And when you're tired, you can stay in your car and you can really get a lot of reconnaissance done in a short period of time. So, I had been particularly disappointed up till this point. I was wanting to photograph an adult night heron. Okay, black crown night heron. And I had not got any glass on one. I had photographed a juvenile in Merritt Island, but I had not found any in this trip. And it was kind of making me discouraged. So on a whim, I decided to go to Black Point Wildlife Drive. I arrived there early in the morning, of course. And on one of my first passes, it might have been the first one, this black crown night heron was just sitting there right by the road. And I said, wow, you know, that's the first time other than a juvenile, first time I had seen this particular species out and about this time of day. And I immediately got my camera out. I got my 7D Mark II here. No, this was with a Sony. I'm sorry. I got my Sony A7 III out, the Sony 200 to 600 millimeter lens, and I went to work. Okay, 1/160th of a second, f7.1 ISO 1000. And I really like that I got glass on this guy. Is it the best photograph in the world? No. Am I happy with what I have? Absolutely. We've got some good head turn here. Love the red eye. Great focus on the eye. If you don't believe me, look for yourself on a zoom in on that. Great focus. The background here, not so happy with. I'm not a big fan of the mottled lighting mixed in with the leaves here. But you know what? For the first time getting glass on this guy, I was very happy. They're fairly elusive in the sense that they typically are found at night, thus the term night heron. Dusk, nighttime, early morning, as you see here. This guy is probably, I don't know, getting ready to go to bed, probably. He's probably been hunting. So very happy to find this guy right there on Black Point Wildlife Drive. So I thought, wow, this morning is starting out really well, right? But one thing I didn't count on, well, I thought about it, but hadn't really given it a lot of thought, is that this time of year is not the best time to go to Black Point Wildlife Drive because most of the wading birds are mating. They're in breeding season. So still a very nice diversion. So the next shot here, now this was just, I thought, perfect lighting. I mean, you couldn't have asked for a better backdrop, better lighting, better perch. I mean, it looks like I took this in my backyard, you know, with a setup shot. This is a female red-winged blackbird. Now, and a lot of people don't realize, I get this a lot when I post these on social media, that the red-winged blackbirds, the female of the mating pair, is brown. And in fact, they look very much like, you know, something like a large sparrow. Now, if I zoom in on this guy, or girl, I should say, notice the red up here on the top of the wing. That's one indication of a red-winged blackbird. Notice the overall body structure of a fairly large bird here. Now, it's hard to tell here, but this is a lot larger than a sparrow, okay? More robin-sized, if you will. Yeah, she's really bellowing out. She's bellowing out to her mate, who's not far off. And we're going to see a picture of him in a minute. Very sharp. Again, that 200 to 600 Sony. Wow, guys. I mean, that is an amazing lens. Amazing quality. The camera being the Sony A7 III. Love that camera. Look at that. ISO 2000. You can't even tell. Look at this thing. Look at this thing. I did a little cleanup work on it in post, but wow. I mean, the days of terrible high ISO shots are over. If I would have taken this shot with one of my older cameras, like the 1D Mark, well, the 1D Mark III was okay, but if I would have taken this with that 1D Mark III, it would have been very, very noisy. Okay, so a first. This was a first for me. I had not photographed the female of the species before, so that was interesting. Okay, next shot. All right, black-necked stilt. Now, what's a black-necked stilt? A black-necked stilt is a shorebird that is most commonly found in beaches. Here, though, we have them back in a marsh. They also are found in marshes, but we typically see them in beach areas and places like that. So here we got them in a marsh. Really high-key image here. Very bright, very shallow depth of field. As you can see here, the body is actually out of focus right here, and the eye is in focus. So very shallow depth of field with this guy. This was taken with my 7D Mark II because he was so far away. I needed the extra reach. Shot that with my Sigma 150 to 600. Down to 2/50th of a second. So we might be getting some motion blur here too, guys. This might be getting a little motion blur here with the leg. But I don't think so. And the reason I don't think so is because you can clearly see this leg is in focus. The bill's in focus. The eye's in focus. So I don't think it's motion blur. Excuse me. So where does that leave us? What is interesting about this? I think the high key nature of this image. You're talking about an image that would look good on a wall. You know, definitely a good artistic, fine art type image. Good reflection down here with a little bit of blur and reflection. Would make a great painting, actually. So that's that. By the way, this is the first time, again, a lot of firsts in this little diversion. I had not photographed a black-necked stilt outside of captivity. I had photographed them in captivity, but not one in the wild before. So this was a pleasure to photograph indeed. Okay, another shot of the black-necked stilt. This one a little bit closer, a little more interesting lighting. You can see here nice morning light coming in at an angle. Good side lighting here, which I sometimes like to see. The great thing about side lighting on an image is it really models, not model, but models, as in walking a runway model, the 3D effect here. You can definitely see the shading on the neck, the shading on the head. You can definitely, it makes a 2D image look three-dimensional. And so that's what I like about it. a lot of people like the flat directional lighting. Okay, that looks really nice on birds. I agree. But there are times where I think the side lighting really looks better, in my opinion. I know that's kind of a controversial subject for some stupid reason. But, yeah, that's the truth. Let's check focus on this guy. Let it load. Focus is good. Good, solid focus here. Very shallow depth of field, of course. Focus seems to be right along this axis. The bill being closer to me is out of focus. The head's starting to lose focus back here. So fairly shallow, maybe 3 inches of depth of field total. Okay, let's go to the next one here. Sorry, I meant the... All right, we went from the female to the male of the mating pair. Another great background here. Another great perch for this guy with a lichen on the branches, a blue sky behind him. He's singing his heart out back to the female. Nice wing here. Now, you will get this. Typically, when they're real yellow down here, it indicates a more juvenile bird. I have seen adults, though, full adults with this. So, it's hard to tell sometimes. It's hard to tell by just the wing color. When I was a kid, they used to say that the female was the one with the yellow, but that's not true. That was a false narrative that was spread in the north where I was from, and it's just not true. They probably didn't realize that the female was brown. Good focus here. I did have to crop fairly deep on this image. But that's to be expected when you're photographing songbirds. You're not going to, when you're don't have a food source for them and so forth, you typically end up photographing them a little bit farther distance. So, got some nice foliage here, starting to green up a little bit here in the spring. That'll be very green in a couple months. So the red wing blackbird, the male of the species. Okay, next image. No trip would be complete to Florida or to any coastal area on the East Coast without a photograph of the boat-tailed grackle. A little bit different than the common grackle. Long body, long tail, head shape slightly different, more of a, I can't even explain it, but it's got more of a crown or something here. I don't know what you would call that, but a little bit different. Bill is roughly the same. Coloration's roughly the same, but a different bird. And again, with that Sony, just amazing, amazing sharpness on this bird. I think actually the bill is where the focus fell, but with the f6.3, I just got a little more depth to go into the eye there. So really cool. Like, you know, a lot of people have a big hang up with grackles. I mean, look, grackles, they serve a purpose. Okay. Are they annoying? Yes. Do they eat all your bird seed in the backyard? Yes, they do. They do serve a purpose, though. They are scroungers. They scrounge in flocks. They eat a lot of bugs that would be in your house if they didn't eat them. And they have a purpose. That's simple. But yeah, no trip to Florida would be complete without at least one picture of these guys. So you'll notice, again, there is really no wading birds except for the heron in the beginning. The other was a shorebird. Again, that's because they're not here, you know? All right, so as I ended my trip for the day, I was taking some laps around Black Point. This is actually the road here, right on the edge of the road. This is the roadside of the Black Point, and you can actually see how large the stones are in the picture. This is a juvenile alligator. He is, you can tell that by his teeth Now, this is just the layman. This is layman alligator guy here now. Their teeth typically are small, more baby teeth looking teeth. They have slightly different coloration. They tend to be yellower around here. And then, of course, their size is just tiny compared to the adults. So this guy was probably, I don't know, from nose to tail, he was probably about 3 feet, maybe just a little bit more. So he's getting older, but still a young guy, still a young one. You can see fairly sharp here. Again, that 200 to 600 Sony, amazing, amazing, amazing. What can I say? Look at those teeth. Anyway, that was kind of how I rounded out the day. Again, your trip to Florida is not complete without an alligator image, right? It's just the way it is. And look at, guys, I shot at ISO 1000 pretty much all day long. You can shoot that Sony A7 III at 800 to 1000 all day long, and it looks like 200 did 10 years ago. You know, it's amazing. Absolutely amazing. But that's all I had for this episode. I know it was a short episode, but I wanted to at least talk about my little diversion on day 4. Day 5, things start heating up again, and we'll pick that up next week. So the only other announcements that I had was got a Memorial Day flash sale coming up this weekend. Free shipping on everything. Don't miss it. Great opportunity to get some of my pieces hanging on your wall. Lots to choose from out there. Lots of different sizes. Got t-shirts. We got all this merch out there you can buy. So support the channel. Support my efforts, and go out there and actually have something to show for it. Anyway, thanks for watching. Make it a great day, and get out there and enjoy nature. Bye-bye.